Well, the original purpose of this was to have a visit with my new fellow media member, John Cook. But, John, let me quote you from The Godfather 3 when Michael Corleone says, "Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in."
Uh,
What
yeah,
are you doing?
that's kind of what happened. I'm more worried about. Do you have my bobblehead up there in your
I,
wall back there?
I have it behind up here on the shelf. You can't see
Okay,
it from here.
so
Yes,
you do have a bobblehead.
that's
Okay,
right. I should have. How could I not think of that for the sight gag? But
yeah, yeah. I know that's you got some cool bobbleheads up there, but yeah, that's kind of what happened, Lee. I was very happy with everything, but the Supernovas reached out. They asked for some help. They wanted me to coach. I said no, and then they said, "Hey, would you consider being general manager?" And anyway, several weeks went by. I just kind of didn't do anything about it. I didn't have one feeling or the other. But then once uh, this new league formed, and I talked to the owners, and they kind of explained to me everything going on. But really, my main motivation became more of trying to help create a great pro league in the U.S. And they convinced me that I could have a big influence on that and an impact on that. And so that's what really motivated me to get involved with this. If we can get a great pro league going in this country, and these players don't have to leave and go overseas all the time. I just, and Supernovas are proving they can do it. And now they've got some people behind them that they think they can do this all over the country and build it. So to be a part of the Supernovas, be in a leadership role there, be able to oversee things and try to make an impact, that's what kind of inspired me to do it. But just so you know, I'm still going to live in Wyoming. So I'll go back and forth. I'm going to be back and forth to Omaha anyways, so it kind of all worked out logistically.
well, you beat me to my first question. You're going to telecommute, and so there you go. And
Yeah.
you can talk to volleyball people from there quite easily. I mean, look, we're doing it right now. Well, last year you must have been pretty proud because you had so many former players in both leagues, in League One volleyball and in Pro Volleyball Federation. Just sprinkled throughout the rosters. That was had to be very gratifying for you.
Yeah, and these guys love playing after college. It's a great way for them to make money. And of course, now with the NIL, that's going to change things a little bit for these college kids playing. And they're now going to be able to make money. But, why not have these women athletes be able to have the opportunities to make an income and make a living like the male athletes have? And, we see the football guys, the basketball guys, I mean, they're all, have these great opportunities and all these different leagues and so on. But let's build it for the women. And it's kind of happening in soccer a little bit and volleyball and of course the WNBA. So it's kind of exciting. And it just, if I can add to that, I mean, volleyball has been great to me and my life. And so if I can give back in some way and help this pro league develop, it would be pretty cool.
Well, things hit the ground running yesterday. So you were quite coy about it. I said, hey, I joked with John in a text, I want to interview you, because you're going to do analysis for the Big Ten Network. And yesterday, yeah, okay, time's good. And you never said anything about the Supernovas. And
Yeah.
yesterday, the barrage of, one coach gone, new co-owner, general manager on board, and then the hiring of Lucas Slava, which is no small thing, a guy with great credentials and a really good volleyball coach.
Yeah, that was my first accomplishment was to get Luca on board. And I've known Luca. I tried to hire him a few times, and we've known each other for quite a while. And I just, the timing of him with his work with the USA Men right now and the timing in this pro league, Major League Volleyball, it works out great for him. So he can still be involved in that. He can coach that, still do the USA Men. Karch is on board with it. So we went through all that. But that was the first domino to get going. And now today starts the free agency. So
Yeah.
this is a whole new world because, when you're a college coach, you're just offering full scholarships. You're not offering anything extra. Well, now it changed with NIL, but so now and we got a salary cap to deal with. So trying to get these players to understand salary cap and how all this is going to balance out and trying to build a team. I mean, It's Moneyball, baby. That's I just watched the movie the other day, Moneyball, before I decided to do all this. And that was one of the things I thought, well, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be Moneyball.
The book is fabulous too if you've never read it by Michael Lewis. So yeah, so along those lines, it's just before noon Eastern time that we're doing this on Thursday, and then Thursday afternoon starts the signing period. So I assume you're going to be working the phones, doing a lot of Zooms, and coordinating with your staff and all those things. It sounds complicated, and all the teams are basically wide open because nobody's signed anybody yet.
Right. It's wide open. So it's a true free agency. Can you imagine the NFL or NBA? Just like, here we go.
Yeah, fill up 8 rosters. Well,
Yeah.
and Love is announcing their rosters today, but they've already been signed. So the upside for you is you don't have to worry about those players.
Yeah.
But not to keep throwing the other league in there, but how interesting that at the same time you become a co-owner and general manager of the Omaha Supernovas, your fierce rival and friend Kirsten Bernthal Booth leaves Creighton to join that franchise, and then your greatest player of all time, Jordan Larson, becomes part owner of that other franchise. I mean, the three of you.
Yeah. And that's why volleyball, Nebraska is the epicenter of volleyball in this country. And I think it's great. Its competition is good. And it was bizarre that it all happened on that day. I mean, that was all just by random luck. But it's exciting and it's great for the volleyball world. It creates conversation, it creates a buzz, and that's what we need because ultimately what's going to needs to happen here, these leagues, need to get TV contracts and get it going, and that's, ultimately that's where this is all headed.
Got to have the TV. Well, we take this mid interview pause. If you are not already a subscriber to 900 Square Feet, the only all volleyball email, please, it's in the link here for the YouTube. Sign up. It's free, and we're trying to grow that list. So I'd like to ask you a little bit about last season and then look forward to your new role next season. I remember I don't know if you remember, you and I were walking before an NCAA championship game 4 or 5 years ago, and I said, "Are you still having fun? Or are you getting ready to retire?" I had this feeling, and you looked at me and you go, "No, I'm having a great time." I mean, to me, it looked like you were eating bad food all the time that particular season, and you said, "No, I've got the best recruiting classes coming in for the next few years, and I'm having a ball, and I can't wait to coach them up." And of course, you were right there knocking on the door. But was that hard on you being so close but not winning national championships the last few years?
Yeah, it's tough, but I look at it this way. You get to a Final Four, you got a 25% chance of winning. It's harder than heck to get to a Final Four. And you know, Russ was the only one that kind of blew up that percentage. But getting there and Lee, the bottom line is I've had the best 10-year run of my career the last 10 years. Getting to the Final Four, and it's hard to win a national championship. And it's getting harder and harder because there's just so many more good teams. And 10 years ago, there was only a couple teams that were really good enough to win it. And so it's getting very, very competitive and it's hard. But I had the most fun, and I felt like our team statistically played at one of the highest level teams I've ever coached. So I felt good about a lot of those things. And it's sports, and there's a lot of great coaches that never even won a national championship, and there's a lot of great teams and players that have been great in all sports that have never won one or a championship like that. So, but anyway, it's the journey that I really enjoyed, but it felt like the time was right. And again, the time was right for Danny to make her transition with her family and all that stuff and what was going on with contracts and so on. So everything just felt right. And it still feels really good.
No, there's so many coaches of your generation who have said to me, this isn't what we signed up for. All the other stuff aside, it's just like, and with NIL and revenue sharing, and it's a brave new world. And so the timing of it, I mean, you've turned 70
No, no, not yet.
coming up this year?
No, I got another year.
Okay, good. But close enough. Many Americans would go, yeah, he's past retirement age.
Yeah.
But so you left it. this close to the very top of the game. And like you said, for the past decade. And then to your point too, the number of people that you were able to influence in a positive way, and then the things that you were able to do, and not the least of which of all the legacy things had to be the football stadium, match, which, at first I was like, what a gimmick. And it just keeps coming up and coming up. And I have total strangers. Oh yeah, I watched that Nebraska match, so,
Yeah.
that part of you's got to be very proud.
Very, very proud. And that's something that, is going to last a long time, that the impact that that match had and on volleyball and people. And so again, we never planned for that to happen like that. It was a magical night. It happened. It was in Nebraska. And so I'm not sure you can recreate that again. I mean, you could try, but I'm not sure it could happen again. And it'll be interesting to see if somebody else tries or Nebraska tries again. But that was kind of a once in a generation type deal. But yeah, something we're really proud of. And there again, there's lots of things. We sold out every match since 2001, and now they're going to reseat, and they're raising ticket prices, their seat donations. I mean, it's becoming like football,
Yeah.
and tickets are hard to get, and people aren't flinching really. It's where college athletics and college volleyball needs to go, because if we're paying players, these ADs have got to generate revenue from somewhere, and that is going to be the denominator on what teams can stay competitive and what teams are going to drop off. And that's the unfortunate part of college volleyball. You're probably going to see some of it at separation now.
Yeah. I wish that every state could embrace the sport the way Nebraska does, or at least more of them, but that's a whole other story for another day. Uh,
Yeah.
your coaching tree is quite extensive. You have so many friends in this business, competed against so many of them. So now you're going to be an analyst for Big Ten network television, and it's you can't be like a unicorn, and you've got to be able to analyze and criticize, and not necessarily mean criticize, but realistically do that. And you've always been media friendly and media savvy, but this is a whole new world for you.
Yeah, well, I did that match in the spring, the Kansas match, and I just said, "Yeah, I'll try it, see how it goes." It's something I've always wanted to do, and I love watching like Tony Romo and some of the guys on the NBA and college basketball. Those guys, I love listening to those guys, and I think they do a fantastic job. And so I've always just been enamored with that. So I tried it, and it ended up being the highest rated show for the month of April on Big Ten Network. Everybody raved about it, because I guess I said some things that people really enjoyed and listened to and learned, and I just talked like I was watching a match. And so anyway, they've asked me to come back and do it, and so I'm kind of excited. I'll get to do some Nebraska matches, and I'm going to do some other matches as well. And um, so anyway, I think it's pretty cool. And again, I can continue to still be a part of volleyball.
No,
I've
it's
got my cowboy world up here in Wyoming, but which I love, and but I still want to stay connected and be a part of it. And yeah, and I can't wait to do like go to practice for some of these teams and talk to these coaches and grill them.
yeah, the way the media would come in and talk to you ahead of time.
Yep. Yep. I
Well,
can't wait for
I think
that.
it's going to be really interesting is when not when you do the Nebraska matches, but the other matches when you've got two other teams. And to your point about Romo, for example, one of the things I like about him and that I really liked when Karch Karai did uh, volleyball was that they would tell you what was going to happen before it did.
Yeah.
And I hope you're not afraid to take that chance too while you're analyzing, because that's I think something that we're missing a lot of in our sport.
Yeah, and that's again, there's a lot of young TV people who are doing those matches. Okay, I've got how many years of wisdom and seeing it over and over. So same with Karch and Tony Romo. These guys just you see it. It's just there's patterns and you recognize that. And that's one of the things I guess advantage of being older, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, but when you watched even your own team, even when you knew it was going to fail, there were probably times where you didn't say out loud, "Oh, this is going to happen, and we're in trouble."
Right. Oh,
It's
yeah.
just part of it, right? The sport
Right.
breaks you down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're thinking it and you know it. And again, I'd love to write a book on all the things that I anticipated and told my assistants this is going to happen. And they're like, "Oh, no way, no way," and it happened. So,
Well,
but
when you're
again,
ready
that's
to
just
do the
this
next,
experience.
yeah, when you're ready to do the next book, everybody, I asked actually, I've written a couple about football and basketball, and people go, when are you going to write a volleyball book? And I tell them, never, because
Yeah,
writing books is really hard. And of course, you had your biography, your autobiography you wrote, which is wonderful,
yeah.
by the way. If anybody ever gets a chance to pick that up, really good about John's growing up in other sports in San Diego. Really, really good stuff. But yeah, if you ever want to collaborate on a book, for you, I could make an exception, and we would have fun as long as I get to come to the ranch.
Yeah, I got it in my head. I got the chapters in my head. So yeah, there's some things I'd like to unleash on.
Yeah, well,
But
unleash them. I think you better first unleash them on signing free
yeah.
agents, and then unleash them as an analyst. So this is great. The volleyball world, I know, is going to appreciate that we took this time, and I really appreciate that you took time to visit.
Yeah, this is great, Lee, and I love what you're doing. Love the 900 square feet thing is awesome, and because when I first started coaching high school volleyball, and your quote in there is, "You got 900 square feet, you just serve the ball in there," and that's what I would tell those in the 80s coaching. Hey, you can land a helicopter over there, just serve the ball in the court. So that thing has resonated with me from day one of when I started coaching.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, John.
Okay, Lee, take care. All right.